They became lawyer from after being schooled sa PNA. Kaya lang, at that time, it wasn't too encouraging because the Philippine constabulary was dissolved then.
Okay, so not a good timing.
It's just a good timing, you know. And then, I had the thought of, sige na lang, I just go on to be a lawyer na lang. So, I took up accountancy.
Okay.
Then, I graduated. Well, like I said, you know, I'm not that very good in college or even in school at that time. In fact,
will it matter? I mean,
well,
performing well, I mean, in terms of academics?
Well, it matters for some people, but for me, I think it comes down actually on how you do things afterwards. There are so many people that I know that they're very good in college, but right now they are not
doing well.
Doing well, you know. It depends on the ability actually kung paano man. But right after I graduated,
you graduated on time?
I was very young, 20 years old when I graduated, no. And during the first year, I was actually became a manager after 8 months. Then on the second year, I was already traveling Asia.
Okay.
And I stayed in India for 2.5 years.
Okay, what was it like being in a foreign country? You were very young and.
Well, you know, anything for that matter was actually very nice. Okay. It was a challenge for me. I took up everything as a challenge, and whatever I have right now, I experienced during those early years, and that is where I learned the general business management, and I grew up in a corporate world. I mean, personally, after.
Is there a big difference between the India and the Philippines?
Well, there's a lot. You know, when I came to India, when I went to India, the day I landed there, you know, I thought it was a culture shock. Really, it was a culture shock because I remember when my staff picked me up from the airport, and then I rode a 1945 classic car because that is what they have there. Then suddenly, it was early in the morning, I think at around 2 o'clock, and then the car stopped. Then I saw the cows passing by the street, and then we have to stop. I asked my friend, I told him, you know, Gagan, are we in the city? And he said, yes, Neil, you're very much in the city.
Okay.
How can you see cows in the city?
but in terms of attitude, for example, who's more obedient or industrious in terms of attitude towards work or business?
I would say that Indians think deeply. You know, they tend to think to justify many things. Well, I would say that they are easily to manage because when you say something to them, they can easily grasp the idea that you wanted to do.
So what's the problem in the Philippines?
Filipinos, medyo mababaw tayo. On a positive sense, I would say na kung sila madaling mapatawan, things like that. But on working attitude side, you really have to dig deeper to them and tell them exactly kung anong gusto mo. You have to go into details. Unlike the Indians, you tell them about the direction and they do everything.
Right.
Dito kailan you need to go out on your way and tell them exactly what to do and even go down to the details and things like that. I'm not saying at all, no, but
of course.
The motivation is not actually very encouraging. You know, you really have to motivate them about the kind of thing that they need to do.
Okay, let's go with the water thing. This Aquabest.
Aquabest. Well, we started out in 1997 actually.
And now you have, I think, 400.
Now we're reaching actually 700.
700?
No, for Aquabest stations.
Last night it was 400. I saw it in the website.
400 Aquabest.
And then the following day, it's 700.
No, not really. No, we have different brands in our company.
Okay.
We have Aquaquest, Aquaspray, and so on. So Aquabest around 400 nationwide.
Right.
So we started that out in 1997, and a friend of mine actually I stumbled upon him in a shopping mall.
Does he have a name?
Yes, he's the founder of it's Albert Ching. He already expired a couple months ago.
Okay.
And he's a friend of mine, and he said that he wanted to put up a business. And that was when I was not actually very keen to join him in the business because I was still employed by the Hong Kong-based company. I was an investment banker before. I was into financial markets.
Oh yeah.
So it's a totally different thing that I'm doing right now. I used to be talking about British pound sterling and all these things.
And now the
Now
idea
I'm
was
talking about-
presented to you.
Yeah, the idea is presented to me is totally foreign, alien. So I said that I'm not into that. But since I was into corporating, he asked me to form a company, of a franchising company, to which I became a partner. So he sought my help, and I introduced him the corporate setup. And then from then on, I didn't join the first year. I joined the management the following year because he insistently told me that he needed.
Was there a cash out from your end?
Yes. I was one of the major partners then at the time. So it was an uphill and then a downhill. And we actually restarted the franchising company some 5 years ago with a new partner.
But when you introduced the
idea of water being sold
in the bottle. I mean, in 1997, I was growing up during the time in Gumaca, Quezon. I mean, I will not buy this one. Punta ako doon sa ilog, tapos mag-ano kami doon ng, guhukay kami doon ng balon, maghintay ka ng konting oras pag malinaw na, and then we drink it. So when you first introduced this in 97, what was the reaction of the people?
Well, even at the time when my friend introduced me about the business, I said na, it's going to be difficult to convince someone that to go into this kind of business where in fact I myself don't drink a processed water. I do only have a filter at home that I use, and for me the idea of drinking water from a processed water, for me it's all the same.
So when did it pick up?
It actually, that changes actually when I joined the company and I had to study about water. From foreign currency and the Nikkei 500, then I had to study about the water and everything.
Okay.
So it's a very dynamic, interesting subject. So I said that, why not?
Did it occur to you that, this work is boring?
You know what exactly excites me about water is that when I researched about the study of the United Nations, that they said the fresh water is becoming a scarce commodity. And they have already studied there.
So you got the message?
I got the message. It's not only that. The number one killer in the whole world is actually diarrhea.
Okay.
And most of the diseases, the number one disease is not cancer.
Right.
It's waterborne diseases. With the increase of population and everything, so there will come a time that this is going to be a problem. So I kind of share that kind of idea.
But there should be a price of putting clean water in a bottle. In fact, there are some people who may be claiming that, one of the things that we pay for this is the environment. 2 billion of plastic bottles are being produced every year. That's 200 billion,
Yeah.
I think. So